Hi, loved one. It's TJ. I'm here to help you expand your mind so that you can remember who you are and live a life of abundance, peace, joy, bliss, prosperity, and the list goes on and on. And I want to talk about the importance of raising our level of consciousness. This is important because it opens up the floodgates for us to begin to remember who we are. We are eternal, infinite spiritual beings living a human experience. And in this human experience, what happens is we are cloaked with all of the societal things that are, I like to say, imposed upon us, belief systems and belief systems that are also imposed upon us by peers and teachers, relatives, family members, and even well-meaning parents. And everyone, we have to remember to have compassion for that, not to blame them, but to have compassion for it, because essentially we're all here trying to figure this thing out. Okay. And so what happens is when we forget ourselves, when we forget who we are, like when we're babies and we come here, we have some remembrance, and we come here on a mission, and what happens is over time, like I said, with all of the other things imposed upon us, we are formed and conditioned and programmed into something else. And so we're wearing like this mask, if you will, so that people on the outside can see what they believe is us or what we might think is us, but really isn't. And you know that that this is you. This is most of us, but you know that this is you if there's something inside you that wants to unfold, wants to come out, but you're not doing that. You are not living that. You are not embodying that. And that's why as you raise your level of consciousness, what happens is you'll start to give yourself permission to be authentic, and just to shine, to sparkle, to have that effervescence that is inside. How many people are living a whole different life than what they want? I mean, you've heard story after story after story. People who went to school to be doctors and lawyers and engineers, and then they're like, well, I really want to be a chef. I'm really here to spread the word in music, or spread the word of God's word, or be a pastor or a painter, candlestick maker, whatever it is. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of what I mean by that. But when you are like right in that zone, you know that, okay, you're starting to emerge and to unfold. And I want you to be empowered to do that. And one way to get started is not only just thinking about who you are and just allowing yourself to just come out bit by bit and introducing yourself to yourself and saying, I love you as you are. And just tell yourself, I love you as you are. Look in the mirror and just look at yourself, really look and say, I love you as you are. And it might be an emotional time for you, and just let it all out. Do the cleansing, but one way to get started, as I mentioned the other day, is to change your perspective on things. And I noticed for me in my life that when I decided to change my perspective on whatever I thought might be perceived as something negative, I realized that I started to attract more of that higher vibrational energy to me. So say the car breaks down. I love to use these examples. They're kind of corny, but just hear me out. Your car breaks down and you're like, oh my gosh, it broke down. Instead of thinking about all of the things, all of the negative things, all the things that happened in the past, instead of imposing what happened in the past on what's going on now, decide that, okay, this is gonna be handled easily. The right person is going to come along to help me. The person that is working on my vehicle is very competent. They are very good and decent. In fact, when I go to pay for my vehicle, they're going to say, you know what, this was all that it was actually, so it's only going to cost you $50 instead of $500. That's an example, and you can apply this in each and every interaction, each and every situation. And before you know it, you have started this positive energy loop that raises your vibration. And as your vibration raises, you are also now able to share this out with the world, and you'll start to see your life, transform in this way. So I wanted to just share that information with you. I hope it has helped. I will see you in the next video. Until then, live simply and be kind.